Hey crew, Troy Anderson here, DVRT Master Instructor. Wanted to spend a little bit of time over several videos with you today and going forward on the what I would call the 5 toughest sandbag exercises that you're not doing. Exercise 1 is kind of the cornerstone of and started off real early on once the teaching process started to grow a little bit broader. Of basically the DVRT program and the vetting process. It's probably given some people some sleepless nights and anxiety, but the number one of the 5 toughest sandbag exercises that you're not doing is the clean and press. It's a great drill. People see a lot of maybe synergy in regards to, well, I can do this with that, or I can do this with this. I just can't tell you unless you try it with an appreciable weight that this drill is something all its own. It will test strength, it will test power, endurance, and it will test your will. So basic drill, real simply put, we're using the parallel grip handles. We always use the parallel grip handles because it's not a barbell. And this is the appropriate way to create engagement through the whole upper body, the upper posterior chain to do the drill well. So set the bag up as close as possible. Sometimes there's triple extensions, sometimes there's not. You're going to catch the fist and then overhead. As such, so fantastic drill again. Number 1, kind of in level of support of importance. I really didn't think about it when I first started to shoot this, but a fantastic drill as far as number 1 in the list. And as we're going to share these 5 videos, we're going to break it down to 5 instead of having a real long video with you. As number 1 toughest sandbag exercise that you're not doing and that could really bring a lot to your training program. Talk to you for the next 4. Hey crew, Troy Anderson here, DVRT Master Instructor. Back with video number 2 of the 5 toughest sandbag exercises that you're not doing. This one will seem familiar to a lot of you that have been exposed to this in the kettlebell world, and that is the Turkish get-up. Super popular drill in the kettlebell world. There are some people that are starting to really pick up and apply the sandbag get-up. I think there's a lot of merit to that. One, you don't have the kettlebell out on the end of the lever for a long period of time on a very exposed, very mobile joint that you do with the kettlebell. The sandbag itself is on the shoulder or draped over the shoulder, much closer to the midline or the center of gravity. You can challenge the work capacity or just the working capacity in general. You don't have to worry about that joint's exposure, so you can get more work done. The movement pattern is very much the same. The other thing that it does allow for, and Josh and Jess have done a really good job of detailing this, far better than I'm going to do justice in this short video, but in regards to the rolling pattern, the ability to turn the head and create that rolling pattern that people want to try to get out of the kettlebell, but because of a load out on the end of a lever arm extended above your head, you really can't do well. So if you want to see that kind of stuff and the rationale on that, go look at some of their other videos on the Ultimate Sandbag YouTube page. You'll get more than enough out of that. But for this, it's going to be an awesome drill. You can load it up. Well, this bag's probably, I don't know, 70 or 80 pounds. You can really get after it. So that's kind of the beauty of the Ultimate Sandbag Get Up. There's a lot of people that are really starting to smartly program this in lots of manners, from a full body strength matter to kind of more of a metabolic matter. So it's up to you. It's probably the first and maybe only way that appropriately that get-ups can be programmed in metabolic thought processes. So here as such, get myself loaded up. You really want to keep this feet on the ground right. Hopefully it don't pop off. I've not done this load in a while. As such, up, clear, and up, and then let me get repositioned here. A little bit of tight space. Back and through. As such. So you can see, you can really start to get the repetitions in there, not have to worry about shoulder issues. and things like that that you might worry a little bit more about with the kettlebell. But a great drill to add kind of a low repetition scheme at too. I mean, you're not going to do 20 or 30 of those, you know, per set, like a swing or something, but sets of 5 or 6. In the programming model, you see me do it in a ladder format. I think that's a really nice way to do it. There's a nice mental challenge there with it as well. So that's kind of what we look at there. But great drill, video number 2 of the 5 ultimate sandbag or sandbag exercises that you're not doing. Video number 3 of the 5 toughest sandbag exercises that you're not doing. This one kind of combines a lot of things that we really look at in the DVRT programming. If you are weak or immobile, it will show up here. It is undoubtedly. You can hide stuff. You can even hide stuff in the get up. But this is a place and this is a drill that you cannot hide that kind of stuff. And this is the same. I mean, it's a kind of a simple, basic name. It's like calling your black dog Blackie. We call this drill the up and down because that's what it is. But it is a fantastic drill that will expose lack of hip mobility, lack of unilateral general leg strength. If you've been cheating that stuff somewhere, somehow, there's plenty of ways to do it. We'll leave that for the clinicians and assessors to talk about and banter. We're not going to talk about that here. And your ability to go overhead. So we need to get this up into the fist position. So we've got to clean this as such. And then, there we go. We're just coming from here. So from that tall kneeling, boom, overhead. So you can kind of look at it in a manner, kind of like a slow clean and press. As such. The way I like to do this is just try to accumulate volume per time. It's slow, it's not fast, it's not a snatch, it's not a swing, it's not a rotational or max lunge, it's not even a clean and press. But you can accumulate volume very much like we just talked about in video 2 with the get up. Accumulate volume, expose your body to training stimulus that you may need. We see this, just people turn them inside out, for lack of a better term, at the educational events. So great drill, a little bit off of what most people want to think is tough, but if you're not all together, if you're don't have capacity in all the areas, you're not going to be able to do this drill. It will look really, really awkward. Talk to you for video number 4 and video 5. This is kind of one of my personal, I don't know, nemesises. It's a fantastic drill. I've been using it again a lot more lately, but it's a drill that historically I've not used a lot of and really should. If you like linear, kind of really get after bilateral movements, I know you don't see that a lot out of some of us sometimes. This is the drill for you. Thing about it is that when you place a load, this is the ultimate sandbag good morning. When you place a load on the anterior part of the body in this higher up the food chain, if you will, up on the body, it exposes, it's exposing the anterior core, but it's also the posterior chain. So it's kind of both at the same time, which probably seems weird and odd, and some people might have argument with that, but I don't really care. So we have to get it up into the clean position. We're not cleaning the fist today, otherwise when we go into good morning it would fall off. So we're just going to clean it into the elbows, into that kind of front-loaded, what we call the front-loaded position. As such, we can go ahead and release, because that's going to allow us to tie in this upper back. And then it's just a hinge. It doesn't get much simpler than that. Fantastic drill. Again, feels like you want to unbuckle your core, your hamstrings. You'll feel it the next day. You can get that range of motion. You can't really discount the load. That's and there are a lot of people that do a lot of heavier good mornings than that. But when you put that load, even as light as it is, out on the end of the lever that is your trunk, and then hinge, you really have something. It's a great prep drill, movement prep drill. It's a great drill that you can load heavier and do. I mean, quite honestly, it could quite possibly, if you reduce the velocity quite a bit, you could do it for volume, and it could be supplementary or even in a proxy for doing kettlebell swings. So something to think about on all fronts there. Excellent drill, very tough drill, demanding both physically and mentally in focus, because you don't want to lose that back position. So talk to you soon. Drill number 5. Can't wait. We're fine there. Drill number 5, exercise number 5, whatever you want to call it, of the 5 toughest sandbag exercises that you're not doing. This is kind of a double up. I like this drill because it's technically a clean. That said, it is, we're also putting a squat into this. It's not a traditional clean. It's a piece where you're going with a kind of a two-handed position. So pretty cool piece. You're going to do, basically what it's going to be is, a lot of people call it ground to shoulder squat, or shouldering to shouldered squat is probably the more common verbiage in the DVRT world. Whatever it is, there's some nuance to this. You can't just slam it up there and go ass to grass and just pound it out. There's a nuance there, and we'll try to take a good look at this and show you. As far as the shouldering piece, we like to have that flat side of the bag. We like to go 50-50 on the bag to get it up in the shoulder position. I'm going to show you both sides, and then I'm going to show you a little bit of squat. So I'm here, boom, as such. I'm going to try to tie it as such. I'm going to go to the alternate side here, but what I'm going to do this time when I pivot is I'm going to pivot here. So the goal with the shoulder squat or ground to shoulder squat is to look symmetrical when you squat, to not kick out weight or cant away or whatever the word may be, even though we have load in an asymmetrical position, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go up to left shoulder as such. I'm going to try to dial in real good. And hopefully that looks as good as I intended it to. It felt pretty good. Again, sometimes it's hard to see, that's why it's nice to have a training partner. But that's drill number 5. It's kind of a double dip. But again, you can combo this, you could complex this, whatever you might be. You could do a couple shoulders and then 3 squats and have a set of 5 or whatever it might be. Great drill, really underutilized. It's going to tie in all that linkage system that we often talk about in DVRT by trying to keep that symmetrical look under an asymmetrical load, and I think that's the key take-home point. Thanks for sticking around. I try to keep these short, nice, usable little bites of content, but thanks for sticking around for the 5 exercises. Hopefully you enjoyed the article, and hopefully you give the programming a test run in there. This stuff, that the little nuggets of programming is applicable across broader skills than just these 5 exercises. So take a look at them. It's some of my favorite ways to program, and hopefully you find it useful, whether it's for you, whether it's for you and your buddies, or you have some clients that you're putting this in action with too. Bye.